Hello and welcome to the advanced tutorial for Laser App software. In this session we're going to be covering some of the more advanced uses of Laser App, such as networking, having multiple computers pointing to one database, importing your database from a spreadsheet, our custom PDF feature, as well as backing up and restoring your database. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with networking. Now the method I'm going to show is if you have a separate drive as your designated file share, or maybe it's a server. So the first thing we'd want to do is open up My Computer, and we want to go out to that shared drive. Now here we would want to create a new folder. I've already created mine, so it's called Laser App Network. If I open that folder, inside of it I've also created two new folders, one called Forms and one called Tables. Once I have these set up, I can simply close this out and open up Laser App Enterprise. Now to get started, all I have to do is go to Utilities, Network and Database, Connect or Change Database. Now I'm going to create a new folder database out of these three options here. Click that, Continue, and now it's asking me where do I want this new database to be located. So I'm going to click Browse. I'm going to scroll down until I find that E drive or my shared drive. Double click that. I have Laser App Network. I'm going to open that up and go to Tables. Tables folder is where your client data is going to be kept. So once I have Tables highlighted, I'll just click OK, and now I see it in that line. And I'm going to copy my existing data to a new location. Now I only have John Doe in there, so it's only going to move that one. And then I'll click Continue. And it's letting me know a database has now been established and the location. But it's also asking if I'd like to connect to that location. I'm going to click Yes. And then I also want to check this box. Check here to connect to this location on the next start. Go ahead and check that box and finish. Now to verify I'm on that path, I could come up here to Data View, Contact Data. And here's my client. But down here for data location it says the E Laser App Network Tables. So it lets me know I am looking at the right location. Now to connect your Forms folder to this location, to the shared location, all I have to do is Utilities, Program Settings, and here it's showing my current form directory is my default location, that local setting area. I'm going to click Change for all users, and the only three boxes I'm concerned with here are these three. So I'm going to start off with that global forms directory. Click the little button with the three dots, and it's going to ask me to locate where I wish to have my new forms folder. So I'm going to come out here to my E drive, Laser App Network, and then Forms. Once I've clicked on Forms, I'm going to click OK, and it's going to ask me, I already have forms over in my default location, what do I want to do with them? So I'm going to go ahead and copy current forms to new location. Click OK. And it moved all my forms to this new folder. Global Settings directory, now this handles a lot of like form groups, custom PDF, so you can share all of that across the network. So I'd go ahead and click the little button with the three dots, go to my E drive, and then Laser App Network. Now once I'm on Laser App Network, I'm going to stop right there. There's no need to go further. And I'm going to click OK. Now the last one is Global Tables directory. This handles, again, our client information. So I'm going to click the little button with the three dots, come out here to that E drive, Laser App Network, and Tables. Once I'm on Tables, I'll click OK. And now all three of these have that path. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And it's going to let me know I need to restart Laser App for these changes to be applied. Click OK. And then I'm going to close all of these windows, and I'm going to close out of Laser App completely. And then simply reopen it. Now to double check, I could come up here to Data View, Contact Data, and right here under Data Location I have that E Laser App Tables. I come over here to Forms. Here's all those forms I had downloaded previously. And if I want to double check it again, I could go to Utilities, Program Settings, and right here it lets me know it's connected to the E drive, Laser App Network, and Forms. So I know this computer's all set up. Now the next computer's even easier than that. all you have to do is, at that new computer, go to Utilities, Program Settings, and change for all users. And these three boxes, just like we set them for this first one, that's all you have to set on the second computer and any computer after that. Once you have these three boxes set, you would simply click Save, restart LaserApp, and those computers would also be connected to those shared folders out on the server. So you could have multiple computers pointing to those same folders, so if one person maybe downloads a form or adds a client, everyone's going to see these changes. And that's really all there is to the networking. And if this method isn't quite what your office might be set as, feel free to give us a call on our tech support, and we'll be more than happy to walk you through setting it up in a method that would be appropriate on your system. And I'll be giving out the number to our tech support department at the end of this tutorial. So the next thing I'd like to cover is importing data. Great feature, you've just gotten LaserApp installed, but you have all of your clients on an Excel spreadsheet, either in an XLS file or a CSV file. No problem, we can import that into LaserApp. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize LaserApp for a minute, and I have a couple of templates right here on how to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and open this one up just to show you how they look. Now you notice here I just have some basic information: first name, middle initial, last name, address information, some spouse information, and driver's license information. Now if you don't need the information to actually be imported into LaserApp, you don't even need to worry about having those fields. So if I don't need driver's license to come in, I could simply take those two columns and delete them, and they're gone. Now, I don't have any social security numbers on this spreadsheet, or very few, so I do still need a unique identifier for each and every client. If you have a social security number for all your clients and you have them all entered here on this spreadsheet, not a problem. You can use that as the unique identifier. But in this case, it doesn't work well because I only have maybe that one. So I've created another column, and I've called it Client ID. And I've simply numbered it 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth down the entire list of this database. That way, each and every person has a unique number to that person, so it will keep it separate. And you want to make sure that your column headers start there, right at line 1A, and go right across. You don't want to have a title on the page or anything like that. There's no need. So once we have that information, you can simply save that file and then close it. And we're going to reopen LaserApp. We'll go to Utilities, Network and Database, Import Data. Now here I'm going to choose Create New Configuration. Once I've chosen Create New Configuration, I'll click Contact Records and OK. And it's going to ask me to locate that file. Now, depending on what file you have will depend on files of type right down here. So the first one I'll show you is as a CSV file. And then after we do that one, I'll show you the steps to get an XLS. So with the CSV file, it's going to ask me to locate it. Now I know my spreadsheet's out there on my desktop, and that's currently where I'm looking. So I'm going to click on that and open. And it's going to bring me to the Text Import Wizard Step 1. Now here, I just want to make sure that I have that first choice done, comma delimited. The next one, I want to click Starting Record R1 Contains Field Names. Once I have both those checked, all I have to do is click Next, and it takes me to the Step 2. Now here, the only thing we're going to be concerned with is this date format. You use that little drop down and go to month, day, year. You don't need to worry about the date separator or the text qualifier. No need. And then I'm just going to click Next. Now here it brings me to my field configuration. Now this could look different on everyone's spreadsheet depending on how you have your columns worded on your spreadsheet. So here it actually put it in the order that it appeared on my spreadsheet. With some it might be alphabetical. So it doesn't matter what order it is here in our source fields. So our source fields are how it is labeled on the Excel spreadsheet, and now we need to match it to the appropriate LaserApp field. To locate all those is right here in these tabs. So if I highlight my source field for first, okay, so that's the client's first name. So I'm going to scroll down till I find client first name, or whatever best matches the column that I have currently selected. So once I click that, this little blue arrow pointing to the right, click that, and now you notice laser app field, source field matched up. So when this import happens, this client first name field is going to be looking to whatever it's matched up for that data. And then you just go down the list and match up all the fields needed. So let me go ahead and do these up. And you notice it bounces around a little bit. That's not a problem. It's completely okay. It does not matter what order you're going in. See, notice I mismatched that one. So to undo that, all I have to do is highlight that and click the arrow pointing to the left, and it'll unmatch that little guy for me. And then I can start right back where I left off. Now you notice here we're now with spouse's information. So if I wanted to, I could skip over, because I know client ID is right here. So let me skip over those spouse information for now. Click on client ID and match that field up. Now I can come back to the spouse information. Now I'm not going to find the spouse information under the client, so I'm going to click this spouse tab. And then I just like we did before, match up those appropriate fields. And once I have everything matched up, what I'm going to want to do is I want to save a copy of this configuration. So that way, if maybe, like how I did before, I accidentally matched up client SSN to client zip, if I didn't catch that here and I did this import, it would pull the client's zip code into the Social Security field. So if I hadn't caught that already, as long as I save this configuration, and you can name this whatever you would like, and you can save this file wherever you would like. So I'm going to go ahead and save it right there. Once I've saved that configuration file, all I have to do is click Import, and it's going to let me know the import was successful. No records were updated, but 82 clients were added. I'm going to exit this configuration. Now if I come up to Data View, Contact Data, I have a lot more clients in there now. So all that information from that Excel spreadsheet is now within my laser app. And now what I was talking about before is if you mismatched the configuration, not a problem. You notice you went into Data View, you notice, oh, there's an issue. If I go to Utilities, Network and Database, Import Data, Load Saved Configuration, it's going to ask me to locate that configuration file. So I have that guy right there. And click Open. And then it's going to ask me for the spreadsheet. So I'm going to find that spreadsheet again, open that up, and it brought me right back to where I had that field configuration. And I can change this all I want. So that's importing from a CSV file. It's a little bit different to do it from the XLS, so we'll go over that right now. Go to Utilities, Network and Database, Import Data, Create New Configuration. So far we're looking at kind of the same thing. I'm going to click on Contact Records again, and OK. Now here, for file of type, it's still looking for that CSV file. I'm going to go ahead and use that little drop down and go to XLS. My XLS file, because I knew it was named the same thing, it was saved in the same location, I know that this file is it, because it's only looking for one with that extension. So once I click on that, I'm going to hit Open. And it's going to ask me which table. So I'm going to click that very first one, Continue, and it'll drop me right to the field configuration dialog. Now you notice here, it actually put all these in a different order. They're just alphabetized. And you could go down this list just like we did before and match up the fields in the same exact manner. And then save that configuration, click Import, and it will import that data right into Laser App for you, just like we did with the CSV file. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that. And I'm going to exit without saving. And that's really all there is to doing the import. And again, if you have any questions about that, maybe your Excel spreadsheet looks a lot different than what I have here, feel free to give us a call on our tech support and we'll walk you through the steps. The next feature I'd like to go over is our custom PDF feature. This is a great feature. Maybe you have a form that's exclusive to your office, or maybe it's for a company that we don't have in our system, but you would still like to pre-populate the forms. As long as you get that PDF as a fillable PDF, something you can go in and edit on your computer screen, you can use this custom PDF feature. It won't do it if it's a static PDF where you can't edit anything on it, or if it's a form that's created in a Word document. It has to be a fillable PDF. So to add that in, all you have to do is this feature right here, Custom PDFs. We just click on that, Add, Configure, Modify. Now, I could click Add New PDF, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and click Show Fields. And then it's going to ask me to locate this PDF. So I know mine's out here on my desktop. I call it the surrender form. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to open it. Now, this is going to open it up, but it's going to let me know what each of those blank fields are titled on that PDF document. Like here, it says policy number is what's supposed to go there, but in the field it says text 19. I've seen it where it'll say text and a number. Some might even be created where it says the policy number. And some might have just a bunch of letters and numbers. It's different on every PDF. That's why I come in here to Show Field, because now I actually have a template to go by that's going to let me know what fields need what information, what they're titled on that custom PDF. So all I have to do is click this print icon, print up a copy of it, close the form. Don't save the form before closing it, just close the form. Grab that printout, because now it's a template for me, and add new PDF. And it's going to ask me to locate that PDF again, so I have the surrender form. I'm going to click Open. Now you notice it looks a little bit similar to that field configuration for doing the import, and it is the same basis, matching up the appropriate field to the appropriate field. And we have all of these tabs right here to choose from of what you can import onto the spreadsheet, what you can use to populate that or populate this PDF document. So I'm only going to match up a couple of the fields, like let's see, I know text 24 is an address that's full. So I have CL client address all. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. I have text 24 highlighted, and I'm going to match that field up. Let's see, do I have any other fields? We'll do insured. So text 20 should be the client's name, and it'll be that full name. So let me scroll down till I find client name full. And then I'll go ahead and match that field up. Now, a lot of these fields I'm not going to worry about because I don't have that information within LaserApp, so I'm just going to worry about those two right now. And right now I have the registration type set as individual. Now, if you do need to have this form available for individual or spouse or joint, you will have to program the form like we are doing here, matching up the fields individually for each of those registration types. So once I have this mapped, I'm going to give it a description, and I'm going to just call it test PDF, and I'm going to click Save. So it's saving a copy of this configuration, so I come into it. Now, if I needed to do this for my spouse also, I need this registration type, I could click Add, and it'll let me know which ones I can use. So if I click Spouse and OK, all I have to do is unmap those fields and click the Spouse tab, and then I can match them up based on the spouse's information. But I'm not going to go ahead and worry about doing that right now. And then I could save that one. Maybe I'd call it Spouse Test PDF, and then save, and then so on and so forth with the next one. Maybe I need to do it for a joint or corporate account. So once I have all this done, I just close out of that, and now you notice this box that was once empty now has that surrender form. So if I wanted to see how I have that configured, maybe I need to come back into it and change some fields up, all I have to do is highlight it here, configure modify, and it'll take me right back to that field configuration dialog where I was matching up those fields before. But we're not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to go ahead and close all this out. Now to open that form, all I have to do is make sure I have a client selected. So let's go ahead and find John Doe here and close this window. So I have John Doe selected, and if I come to Custom PDF, use that drop down, now I have the surrender form. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And it's going to open up the form, and you notice John Doe's name is populated right there, and the address is populated right there. And then I can just finish filling out this form here, print it up, and I'm all set. And again, if you have any questions about using the custom PDF feature, feel free to give us a call in our tech support department, and we'll be more than happy to help you with that. Another thing I'd like to show you is backing up and restoring. This is something I definitely cannot put enough emphasis on the importance of. Because all of your data is stored locally on your machine, or maybe out over the network like I showed you earlier in this tutorial, if something ever happens to that information, maybe the server goes down, or if it's locally on the computer, maybe something happens and your hard drive crashes. Because the data is stored locally on your machines, we do not have access to that information. So if something happens to those computers and you don't have a backup file, you have to rebuild it all from scratch. There's no way for us to retrieve that data. So I always recommend maybe getting a USB flash drive. You don't need a very big one. 1 gig is more than enough room for this. But something you can plug into your computer and run a backup onto. That way you have a backup file separate from your computer. So if in the off chance that something ever happens to your computers and you lose Laser App and you have to reinstall, you have that backup file that you can restore maybe all of your database, or at least a good chunk. I always recommend running a backup once a week. Maybe every Friday, just have it before you leave the office for the day. Run that backup right onto the flash drive, and you're set. To run that backup, all you have to do is under Utilities, Network and Database, Backup, Restore Database, Backup. And it's going to ask you where do you want to save that file to. So maybe this shared is actually a flash drive. I could save to that file, and maybe call it BU backup 0809, and then save. And it's going to let me know the current data was successfully backed up to, and give you the name of that location. So in the off chance that something would ever happen to your database and you lose all of this, you could simply reinstall Laser App, plug in your flash drive, and go to Utilities, Network and Database, Backup, Restore Database, Restore. And then it'll ask you to locate that file, so we still have that shared file. We'll go to this backup file that we created, double click on it, and this procedure will overwrite the database with the selected. Yes, I wish to continue. And it's going to let me know the backup was restored successfully. And all my data would be right back into that location. And that's really all there is to backing up. But again, if you have questions about that, give us a call. We'll be more than happy to help you with this. The number for our tech support department is 800-985-2174, and it's option 3. So if you ever have any questions about anything we covered in this class or any usage of the software in general, feel free to give us a call at that number, 800-985-2174, option 3, and we'll be more than happy to help you with any questions you might have. That concludes the advanced tutorial. I hope you all have a great day.